Aquarius, welcome to your weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast. This is from March 21st to the 27th of 2016. I'm Athen, and this is for Sidereal. If you are new to the channel, be sure to check out the link down below because the signs are different. All right, so Aquarius, this week we've got that lunar eclipse on Wednesday, really illuminating and cultivating different areas of our life. So for you guys in particular, it's going to be that 8th house, which has been an area of your life path for the past 2 years. This is the house of everything deep. It's intimacy in relationships. It's openness. It's trust. It's transparency on that sort of level, but just in general with yourself, you know, on the deeper side of life, what's really meaningful to you. So that's already finishing up, though, because the North Node has recently gone into your 7th house and will be here for the next 2 years. So the new life path is for you to cultivate relationships and partnerships and those kinds of things. But with this eclipse, it's on this side of the North Node, so it's a culminating point of specifically anything you've been involved with in this 8th house area for the past 6 months. So if roughly about that time ago, you started something new in terms of the deeper perspective of life in some form or another, maybe shared resources, healthy codependency, and again, that intimacy, then this can be the high point. But at the very least, you guys do have this awareness at this time in terms of what's really meaningful to you in that deeper level. So with this lunar eclipse, it's going to be sextiling up to Mars, and Mars is in your 10th house. So you guys perhaps could be quite assertive and driven for all the career stuff or productive things right now at the moment, which is great. And sextiling the lunar eclipse is very supportive to these deeper changes that are happening or have been happening and are now cultivating. It's going to be very transformed, by the way. And the other thing, too, is that Mercury is going to be opposing up to the lunar eclipse. Now, Mercury is going to be conjoining the Sun exact on Wednesday. So usually with this, there's that strong self-expression, maybe with your ideas, your passions, your interests really coming through the communication, or you're thinking about them a lot with Mercury. That's the combust energy where the Sun kind of engulfs Mercury. So the key is to bring extra attention to the communication, bring extra attention to the mind at this time. But you could be quite passionate, I think, about your values, maybe the material values of life, such as your self-reliance or your finances and these kinds of things. So it's good to be aware of that, see that, and learn more about it while having that balance, because this opposition is suggesting that with this deeper stuff in life, there is, of course, the simple life, the simple pleasures, the enjoyment, the material security, the second house stuff. So we really can't have one without the other, and seeing them as the same helps balance out these two seemingly opposite parts of life. Now, along with this on Wednesday, it just so happens synchronistically as well that Jupiter squares up to your ruler Saturn. So because of this being your ruler, you guys are a bit more perhaps optimistic, maybe about relationships, because of the Jupiter, associating with your ruler. But the key is to stay nice and grounded, nice and balanced. In fact, Saturn is forming this T-square for all of us with these eclipses, which is suggesting the slow and steady type of expansion, with you specifically with those one-to-one connections. So seeing the long-term approach versus the short-term approach, maturity in relationships, responsibility, etc. Now on Thursday, Mercury does trine up to Mars, and so with this one, there could be, again, that assertive nature, and this might be specifically with those ideals, with those values. So your values, while being quite strong and expressive this week, actually are supporting the career stuff, the productive things that you're a part of. So there's a good insight, there's good communication there, perhaps in that sphere of work or of career, and vice versa. You could have some good momentum and motivation to really cultivate that self-reliance. Now, Saturn, your ruler, goes retrograde on Friday. This does happen once a year, and so for the next 5 months, you do have this opportunity to reflect, to go within, and this is specifically with where you have been focused for about the past 6 months to 12 months, depending on the retrogrades. But you've got this focus on the big picture stuff, the career or the legacy or your public life. So now it's the time to rehash that, redo it, rethink about what are some of these structures that you've been building here. How can you restructure your life here to really cultivate that? But the key is around Friday, he's going to be stationed. And it's not really until next week and beyond does he really gain his momentum. So around the weekend, just kind of pausing for a second with that stuff. And just, again, just kind of sitting with it. And in that way, you're kind of flowing with it and you're allowing it to go through this now redoing reflective time. Now, at the same time, Saturn is going to be squaring up to Venus also synchronistically. So a lot of the synchronistic things associated all lining up this week. So with this one, with Venus in your first house, you guys are probably looking good, feeling good, maybe enjoying those relationships in that sense, asserting yourself too perhaps, but with the square from your ruler, again, suggesting balance and structure, specifically with whatever it is you're involved with, and again, those relationships. And because Venus is going to be opposing up to Jupiter on Friday, forming that T-square, you might be a bit optimistic about what you can accomplish, about what you can do, and really strive for, and who you are in many ways too. So stay balanced, stay grounded with it, because Jupiter sometimes in a harsh aspect like this comes across as positive, but can tend to imbalance us a little bit. And the balance here is with self and relationships. Now, over the weekend, the sun does turn up to Mars on Saturday. So again, good self-expression, assertiveness for the career stuff, and maybe even for those values and your material life, which could be good to take action towards again. And then on Saturday, Venus does sextile up to Pluto. So on a sort of minor note, there is this shift, and as there has been this continuous shift with your organizations or groups or your ideals in life, which have been transforming with Pluto. And I think you can find that the more open you are to change over the weekend, could be directly supportive with a lot of the stuff you could be enjoying with yourself and your relationships at the moment. All right, Aquarius, so have an excellent week. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.